For this video, we will be covering multiple topics under drawing conclusions in fiction text. So before you begin on watching this video and completing the exercises, it is important that you have read Eli's mission. This is a ReadWorks passage, and it is a 4th grade level. I've been using it for my 3rd graders, so the text is well readable. I will be linking it in the description for you to be able to read it. So let's begin. With drawing conclusions, there are 3 things that we need to know. First, we always have to make inferences. Second, we make an inference and then we draw a conclusion about a character. And we get a lot of our conclusions from our inference. And I'm going to be giving multiple examples on how to do this. And the third thing that we need to know is that when we draw a conclusion, we use feelings, we use thoughts, we use actions, and we use dialogue, which dialogue is speaking. So when the characters are speaking to each other. Okay, so let's begin with our first graphic organizer, which is making inferences. So for this graphic organizer, you are going to need 3 columns. The first is text evidence. The second is prior knowledge. And the third is your inference. So I will be making 4 different inferences with all 4 of our ways we can draw a conclusion. So the first that I'm going to be working with is a feeling. And in the text of Eli's mission, this is about Eli finding a baby deer who is hurt. And in this passage, there are many feelings that are coming from both Eli and his mom. So if we look in the text, when we're talking about text evidence, it always starts with the text says. And this is going to be in quotes because it's not our words, it's what the text is saying. And it comes directly from the text. So in the text, it talks about Eli's mother guiding him with a frown. So she is frowning, and we are going to infer what she's feeling with this frown. So in paragraph 4, our sentence that we're taking from the text says, Eli watched his mother frown as she looked at the baby deer. So we're going to write, Eli watched his mother frown and you can continue this sentence, or you can put 3 dots, which means the sentence continues, but you are not going to write it. So in quotes, we took this directly from the text. And in the text, it talks about his mom frowning. So what do we know about when someone frowns? When we begin prior knowledge, we always say, I know. Well, what do I know? I know when someone frowns, they are feeling disappointed. So I like to use synonyms for the simple words like happy, sad, or mad, because we can expand our vocabulary beyond the simplistic feelings. So what we did was we took our text evidence, we saw that the word was frown, And we said, I know when someone frowns, and we made a connection using our schema in our brain that when they frown, they're disappointed or have a sad feeling. Now we can make an inference using both our text evidence and our prior knowledge. And we begin inference with I infer. And an inference is made when the text does not specifically say the facts or what's going on. So we're going to infer why the mother is frowning or why the mother is feeling disappointed. So I infer Eli's mom is disappointed because they don't know what to do with the baby deer. Okay, again, at any time if you need to pause the video and make sure you're writing this down, please do so that you have a reference when you are making inferences. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to make an inference based on a thought. So the next one is going to be thought. Okay, and in our text in paragraph 3, we see here that Eli is thinking that it's strange that the animal didn't run away. So, again, the text says, and I'm going to write my sentence. He found it strange that the fawn didn't try running away. Now, this is a thought because it says he found it strange. He's thinking in his head, how strange is it that the animal didn't run away? He found it strange that the fawn didn't try running away is in our text. So now we can make a prior knowledge statement. So I know when an animal does not run away, what do you think happens or what do you think is wrong with the animal? And I'm going to say, I know when an animal does not run away, it may not be scared. Okay, now I can make an inference using my text evidence and my prior knowledge with I infer the baby deer is not afraid of Eli. Now, if you read the story, you will find that the fawn, the reason why he's not running away is not because he's not afraid. So what we would do is we would check and see if our inferences are correct after we read the entire story. So on this one, we would say it's definitely not correct. We can put a big X because that didn't happen in the story. But in the feeling, we can put a check because the parent was sad that the baby deer was hurt and they didn't know what to do with it. So let's continue on. And the next one is going to be dialogue. So we're going to use the same exact graphic organizer that we have been using, and I'm just going to shorthand it. So text evidence, prior knowledge, and then an inference. Okay. And this one is going to be based on dialogue. And this is when two characters speak to each other. So in paragraph 4, it says, I think its back leg is injured. I'm going to go ahead and write that. So now that I wrote my text evidence, in the text it says, I think his back leg is broken. I'm going to begin on my prior knowledge. For my prior knowledge, I'm going to use what I already know about someone having a broken leg. And I'm going to think, what does it look like when someone has a broken leg? So I know when someone breaks a leg, they have a swollen leg, or they can't walk. So now I can begin to infer about why this baby deer is laying down and why we think it has a broken leg. So I infer the fawn's leg is broken because it can't walk and its leg is swollen. So I used what I already know to make an inference about the fawn in the story. So our last inference is going to be based on actions. So let's talk about actions. Right in the text, in paragraph 2, at the end of the paragraph, it says he tiptoed over until he could see something laying in the grass. So in my text evidence, I'm going to say, the text says, he tiptoed over. And I'm going to put dot, 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 because I'm not going to write the whole sentence. And then I'm going to use my prior knowledge and what I know about someone tiptoeing over to something. So I know when someone tiptoes, they are walking with caution because they don't know what's there. So they're walking very cautiously. So now I can make an inference about Eli tiptoeing. So I infer Eli is tiptoeing because he does not know what is over there. So this concludes the part 1 video of drawing conclusions, and this is making inferences.